Hookup culture is a term then that refers to how young people today tend to get intimacy through really casual sexual encounters.
It's something that's quick and fast-paced and usually ends quickly.
You could be talking to someone one week and hooking up with someone, and then the next week it could be something completely different.
It's the norm. I mean, that's what you do, right? You go to college and you hook up with people.
The hookup culture is just a free-for-all.
It's fast paced, so if you don't, put a label on something or, set boundaries, it's bound to change.
If someone's down to hook up, then why not?
The general perception about college students is that they don't want anything serious, so you just assume that, everything is short term or like a one-time thing.
There's really no reason not to, except for all the reasons.
Hookup means, something different to everyone else. You say you're hooking up with someone, but then you gotta, explain, what does that even mean? Are you, did you have sex? Did you just make out with them? Something in between? So then if you do hook up with someone, are you together? Was it just a hookup? Are you exclusive?
When feelings do get involved, it gets more complicated and messy.
With it being so broad, it's kind of hard to know where you stand with people. Two people could be hooking up, but they're on completely different pages as to what they are.
It's definitely something that seems so cool, and so, you're in college, you can do whatever you want. It comes with that, mindset. But then once you do it, you see that all these terrible things come along with it.
As a veteran of the hookup culture, Emma Fanley speaks from experience. She filled nearly every weekend of her first year at UC with countless casual makeouts. Living 3 hours south of home, she was free to do whatever she wanted, with whomever she wanted. And she did. After investing almost 2.5 semesters into UC's hookup culture, she realized she was too mature for meaningless sexual encounters with strangers. So she quit. And then she met Sam Niederhellman.
We met in January, right after we all got back from Christmas break. We met at a party through some mutual friends, and we kind of hit it off right away and immediately started talking, and I was like, oh, he's so cute.
We just started, talking or whatever, and flirting and stuff.
We almost kissed, and then we didn't, and just nothing happened. I was like, oh, I'll never see him again.
College, when you meet someone you like, you assume, you're probably going to hook up or something like that, but it might not go anywhere further than that.
He was really charming and super, funny, and I thought he was great, and I had looked into his social media, which is what everyone does, and been like, wow, he's amazing. He is this ideal guy, and, he's so cool. I really liked him.
I really liked her. She was funny. I thought she was attractive and all that.
About a month later, we did see each other again and talked for a really long time at this party, and we ended up kissing, and it was great, and I was so excited. I was like, oh, he's so cute, and then he kind of just was like, all right, see you later, and just, left.
There's been, people who I've hooked up with, but I would never date. You don't have to meet nearly as much as, the standards as you would, if you were dating someone. It's probably a one-time thing or very short term, so you can kind of look past some of the qualities or traits that you wouldn't be able to look past if it was your girlfriend or boyfriend.
So then a couple weeks later after that, we kissed again, and he did end up texting me a couple of days after that, where it was to the point where I was like, oh, he's not interested in me, and then I got that text, and I was like, oh, it's great, he's interested.
We went on, a few dates here and there, and I was, I didn't really act like I should have. I don't want to say I played her, because I didn't play her, but I wasn't clear with her. I wasn't, upfront or fair, I guess.
I thought it was the best dates I'd ever been on, so I figured, he's really into it, so this is going places, and he never really showed signs of that, but I just assumed he was on the same page, because that's just how I am.
When you just assume something, you're kind of just setting yourself up for disappointment if, the other person isn't thinking the same thing.
So I would, wait for a text, and just when I thought, I was like, oh, he's not interested anymore, whatever, I screwed something up, then I would get a text. I
just, for whatever reason, wasn't, really feeling it, I guess.
In my head, I was like, oh, he's in it. He's texting me, so he wants to be with me.
I was kind of, I don't know, keeping enough distance where if something, I hate to say this, but if something else came along, then I could pursue that.
I just kind of like let him run the show, and he called all the shots. So if he didn't want to talk to me, then he didn't have to talk to me, and I would beat myself up about it, and I would just be like, oh, but it's okay. Like, I get a text from him and be like, it's okay, whatever.
I think it's definitely, the guy's game. People think, the guy is the one controlling it.
I just looked past all the flaws. He was like automatically forgiven for anything that he did or made me wait or made me question everything. Like, I was so I got in my own head about everything. I was like, oh, no, I'm being crazy.
I wasn't trying to, use anyone, but, I wasn't 100% sure if I was all that into her or not.
He was just in it for the hookup, but half the time he wasn't even interested in that.
In my mind, I probably thought, it's whatever. It's college. That was my excuse, but I've kind of learned now that, it's not a valid excuse.
It ended up being a dating hookup. We were essentially friends with benefits that hung out and bought each other dinner.
I mean, it is what it is. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
It was just a casual thing that was not going to go anywhere, but I didn't see it like that.
For some reason, I just couldn't really see myself dating her, so that's kind of why I didn't really want to go too far.
There was no commitment, even with, inviting me anywhere. He actually asked me to go on our first date, which was graders, and he asked me to go with him through Snapchat.
A lot of people just kind of assume that the other person doesn't really want anything serious because no one wants to actually have the conversation where they say, what they want.
We texted all throughout April and up until early May, and then early May was my birthday party, and he ended things. He was like, I really just don't want a relationship, and summer's coming, why, you're going home, why would I do that?
I'm not a bad guy. The last thing I want to do is, hurt someone.
I was heartbroken, and he seemed to be completely fine.
I probably didn't handle it in the best way. I didn't think it through. I didn't see things from her perspective.
I was just furious, at myself, at him, at everything.
While it wasn't my intention to, hurt anyone or be misleading, I realized that's what I did. That became very clear when it was done to me.
I didn't want to see him again, and I was like, okay, I understand where you're coming from. You don't want to be in a relationship right now, neither do I. Even though I wanted to. I just kept my feelings away. He was not interested. He just didn't want a relationship.
Things pretty much fizzled out, and, that was kind of over. And then I started talking to Maddie, and we kind of talked and hung out and went on a few dates here and there over the summer.
Coming back to school this semester, right in August, right at the beginning, we met for lunch, and we talked about it, and he apologized, and, he explained that the same thing had happened to him this summer.
Towards the end of the summer, before school started back up again, she kind of made it clear that, she wasn't really looking for anything too serious, whereas I was, I thought we were going to, date. We weren't on the same page at all, so that's kind of how that ended.
So basically the same thing kind of happened to him, what happened to me.
Sometimes you gotta, learn the hard way. Once, the roles are reversed and you're wearing the other shoe, that's when you kind of realize, what you were doing.
I was like, oh, that's so funny. I feel bad for you, but you did the exact same thing to me.
Being on the other side of it, was kind of a little bit of a harsher reality, I guess. That's when I kind of came full circle and realized, the effects it has when you don't, when you're not clear and concise with whoever you're hooking up with. It was, just a wake-up call, realizing that everything seems fine until you're in the other person's shoes, and then kind of realize, what you're actually doing.
I finally was like, yeah, well, thank you for apologizing. I had completely moved on, and now we both agreed that we could be friends.
You don't think of yourself as a villain until it's done to you. I think it definitely kind of turns people into someone they're not.